everybody! I've brought another of my friends with me today. He's very good at stories and he has lots of adventures of his own, and his name is Mr. Bear. Now, he's fast asleep at the moment, but we'll wake him up. But I better warn you, he's a very big bouncy bear. He loves to jump around, so I have to be very careful how I wake him up. Are we all ready? All right, I'll wake him up. Mr. Bear, Mr. Bear, come on, it's time to get up. Yes, it really is. Now, come on, Mr. Bear. No, I know, you've been asleep, haven't you? Mr. Bear, no, you're ready to wake up? Yeah, no, I know that. Stop bouncing around, Mr. Bear, will you keep still? Mr. Bear, stop bouncing. Wow, get your bottom out of my nose. Woo, Mr. Bear, where are you going? Whoa, no, bleh. Mr. Bear, now will you stop bouncing? Look, I'll give him a stroke and he can calm down while I tell you about him. Now, Mr. Bear, as I said, he's a big bouncy bear and he lives in a house in the forest. Now, it's not an ordinary house like my house. Oh, no, Mr. Bear has a special house. It's a tree house. There's a kitchen downstairs and there's a bedroom upstairs, and he lives there all by himself in the middle of the forest. And every day he gets up and he gets himself some breakfast and he goes outside to see if he can have some fun for the day. Well, let me tell you his story. Now, when he gets up in the morning, we better practice a bit first, because when Mr. Bear gets up, are you ready to show us what you do, Mr. Bear? Okay then. He gets up in the morning, he bounces downstairs, he goes into the kitchen, he gets the honey jar off the shelf, he takes the lid off the honey and he puts his big paw right inside the honey. Oh, very, very good. Lick, sticky. Now, I'm sure you can do that too. So are you ready? Because if you can help me wake Mr. Bear up and pretend to be Mr. Bear and see what he does in the mornings, we're ready to tell his story. So are you ready? Every morning, Mr. Bear bounces downstairs. So can you bounce downstairs as well? And then he goes into the kitchen. He reaches up. Can you reach up? He takes the big jar off the shelf, bring it down, take the lid off the jar and put your hand inside the honey jar. And it comes out all covered in sticky honey. Sticky! Yes, you like that, don't you? Well, I think everybody's ready to tell your story now. Okay, so are we ready? This is the story of Mr. Bear and his friends. One day, Mr. Bear got up. Ready to bounce. He bounced downstairs. He went into the kitchen. He took the big honey jar off the shelf. He took off the lid and he put his paw inside and it came out all covered in honey. Lick! Sticky! It was so good that Mr. Bear thought, what shall I do today? I know! It's a lovely day, so I'm going to go out and find some friends to play with. So he went downstairs, out of the door, and outside. He went down the garden. He went all around the trees. He went through the gate. He went down to the river, over the bridge, and into the woods where the big trees are. Well, when he got to the middle of the woods, he listened, and he listened. But at first he couldn't hear anything. And then he heard a noise, and it sounded just like this. Woof, 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 woof. I bet you can guess. It was a dog. Hello, said Dog. Who are you? I'm Mr. Bear, said Mr. Bear. Who are you? I'm Dog. Woof, woof, said Dog. And what do you like to do, said Mr. Bear. Well, what do you think dogs like to do? I think they like to dig for bones, and I think they like to chase their tails, and I think they like to run. I like to run, and I like to dig for bones, and I like to chase my tail, said Dog. Will you play with me, said Mr. Bear. I will, said Dog. And so Mr. Bear and Dog play together. Come on, you can help him. Are we ready to run? Come on, run, 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 run. Oh, phew. Now chase your tail. That's it, chase your tails. Oh, chase your tails. That's it. Oh, you'll never catch it. No, that's better. And now I think we better dig for bones. So we'll dig for bones. Very good. So they played and played until they were tired. And then Mr. Bear said to Dog, that was fun. Will you play with me again tomorrow? And Dog said he would. And so Dog went home and Mr. Bear went home. And that was a really good day, wasn't it? Yes. Are we ready for another day? Okay, get ready then. The next day, Mr. Bear got up and he bounced downstairs and bounced downstairs. He went into the kitchen, he took the big jar off the shelf, he took the lid off the jar, he put his paw into the jar, it came out all covered with honey, and he went, lick, sticky, Then he went out into the wood to see if he could find anyone to play with. Well, he went down the path and out the gate and through the bushes and down to the river and over the bridge and into the woods where the big trees are. Well, he listened and he listened and he listened, but he couldn't hear dog. But he did hear a noise, only this one seemed to come from the top of a tree, and it sounded more like this. Mr. Bear looked up, and up in the tree there was you're right, a monkey. Hello, said Mr. Bear. Who are you? I'm Monkey, said Monkey. Would you play with me? I will, said Monkey. And what do you like to do, said Mr. Bear. Well, said Monkey, I like to... What do you think monkeys like to do? You're right. They like to climb to the tops of trees, and then they swing on the trees, and then maybe they'll eat a banana. But don't forget to take the skin off first. So, shall we do that together? So Mr. Bear and Monkey, they climbed to the top of the trees. So climb to the top of the trees and swing on the top of the trees. Swing, swong. And then while you're there, eat a banana. Oh, very good. Well, they played and played all day until they were tired. And then Mr. Bear said to Monkey, that was fun. Will you play with me another day? I will, said Monkey. So Mr. Bear went home and Monkey went home, and that was a good day. Are we ready? Shall we have another day? The next day, Mr. Bear got up. He bounced downstairs. He went into the kitchen. He took the big jar off the shelf. He put his paw into the jar, and it came out all covered in sticky honey, ready to lick. Lick, sticky! And then Mr. Bear went out into the woods to see if he could find someone to play with. He went down the path and through the gate and along the bushes and down to the river and then over the bridge and into the woods where the big trees were. Well, he listened and he listened and he listened. But he couldn't hear dog and he couldn't hear monkey. And so he sadly went back towards the river. Well, he just was going to cross over the bridge when he heard a noise, and this one seemed to be coming from the water. And it went like this. You're right, it was a fish. Hello, said Mr. Bear. Who are you? I'm Fish, said Fish. Will you play with me, said Mr. Bear. I will, said Fish. What do you like to do, said Mr. Bear. Well, what do fish like to do? Well, I think they can probably swim down to the bottom of the pond, or round down to the bottom of the river in this case, and they can swim in and out of all the weaving, wavy waterweed, and then maybe they can come up to the top and blow some bubbles. So that's what they did. Are you ready to join in? So Mr. Bear and Fish, they went down to the bottom of the pond and in and out of the weaving, wavy waterweeds, and then they came up to the top and blew bubbles. They played and played all day until they were tired. And then Mr. Bear said, that was fun. Will you play with me another day? I will, said Fish. And then Fish went back down into the water, and Mr. Bear went home. Are we ready for another day? Very well. The next day, Mr. Bear bounced downstairs. He went into the kitchen. He took the big jar off the shelf, and he opened the jar and took the lid off and put his big paw inside. Oh, Mr. Bear, there's no honey left. It's empty. That's it. Get your paw right inside. No honey. No, he's put his nose inside. Mr. Bear, there's no honey left. The jar is completely empty. There's no honey left. Oh dear, said Mr. Bear. The honey jar is empty. I'm going to have to go and get some more honey. Well, he didn't live near a shop. So where do you think he could find some honey? In a forest, in the middle of the wood. Honey comes from... You're right. Honey comes from bees. Mr. Bear, you're going to have to go and find some bees. So Mr. Bear went down the path. He went through the bushes. He went down to the river. He went over the bridge and into the woods where the big trees are. Well, this time he didn't stop to listen or listen. He just kept going, and he went on and on and on through the woods till he came to where the biggest trees are. And the biggest tree in the forest was a hollow tree. And when he got closer to the big hollow tree, he heard a funny noise, and it sounded like this. Oh, said Mr. Bear, that hollow tree, it's singing to me. And he went closer and closer. But as he went closer to the big hollow tree, he heard something else. This time he heard a noise, but it didn't stop him because he could smell a beautiful smell. And it came from a big hole in the tree. So Mr. Bear put his paw right inside the hole in the tree, and it came out all covered with sticky honey. Lick, sticky. It was so good that he put his other paw into the tree, and that came out all covered in honey. Lick, sticky. It was so good that Mr. Bear put his whole head into the tree, and that came out all covered with honey. Lick, sticky. But something else came out as well, and I'm sure you've guessed what it was. It was a bee, and the bee chased Mr. Bear. Mr. Bear went and hid under the bushes, but the bees can fly low. Ow! Mr. Bear went up to the top of the highest tree, but bees can fly high. Oh, ow! Mr. Bear went down, running through the forest till he came to the river, and he jumped into the water, and he hid under the water. And bees, well, they can't fly underwater, so the bee went home, leaving Mr. Bear under his own, blowing bubbles. Just then he heard a noise. You're right, it was Fish. Hello, said Fish. Have you come to play with me? No, said Mr. Bear. I'm hiding from the bees. Oh dear, said Fish. Have you been taking honey without asking? Yes, said Mr. Bear, I have. Oh, said Fish, don't you know, Mr. Bear, you must never take anything from the forest without asking. I know, said Mr. Bear, but I forgot. Well, said Fish, if you go back to the bees tomorrow and ask them very, very politely, maybe they'll give you some honey. I will, said Mr. Bear, and he went home. And that was a good day, but it wasn't quite as good as the other days. But the next day, when Mr. Bear got up and bounced into the forest, he went and asked the bees very, very politely. And you know, they gave him 1, 2, 3, 4 whole jars of honey! Lovely sticky honey! Wee, Mr. Bear, will you come now? Get your nose out of old Mr. Bear! Yes, there's honey for tea. Don't worry about it. You won't run out of honey. Oh, Mr. Bear, calm down. Do you know, he's so big and bouncy, I think I better give him a big cuddle and see if I can rock him to sleep, because I've got another friend you like to meet. Oh, there we are, Mr. Bear. I think he's gone to sleep now, and I can put him down. Shh. I have another story about a bear. He's not as bouncy as Mr. Bear. He's just a little bear. And you can see he's a white bear. Now, he comes from a place where everything is white, where the sky is white with clouds and the ground is white with ice and snow and frost, and even the water is white with ice, because you're right, Snowy is a polar bear, and he comes from where it's very cold all year round. Now, Snowy was a very, very happy polar bear. He liked being a polar bear, and he has a lovely warm fur that would keep him cosy even in the coldest frosty weather, and he has big feet, big flat feet, to stop him from sliding and slipping on the ice. And every day Snowy would go down to the water, and he'd get his big paw and he'd go crack the ice. So ready, get your big paw out and go crack, and then put your paw into the water and go swipe and catch a fish. Yum yum. Go on, try it again. Crack, swipe. A fish! Yum, yum. Try your other paw. Crack, swipe. A fish! Yum, yum. And that's what Snowy used to do every day. Until one day, while he was sitting on the cold ice, he looked up into the sky and he saw something that he'd never seen before. It was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. You're right. It was a rainbow. Well, Snowy looked up at the rainbow, and it was so beautiful. He could see the red and the orange and the yellow and the green and the blue and 2 kinds of purple. And he stared and he stared and he stared until the rainbow did what rainbows always do. It vanished away. But now Snowy wasn't a happy polar bear anymore. He was a very sad polar bear. I don't want to be a white bear, he said. I think just being white is boring. I want to be red and orange and yellow and green and blue and 2 kinds of purple because I want to be a rainbow bear. Now Snowy had some friends who visited him for part of the year, and his friends were birds who came to the frozen north for part of the year and went back to their own lands when it was warmer. And Snowy told the birds all about how he wanted to be a rainbow bear, but he couldn't get up to the rainbow because it was so high in the sky. Well, the birds thought, and then they came up with a plan to help Snowy, and they went away and did what birds do best. Now, what do you think birds do best? Well, I know they can fly and they have wings, and that's a very difficult thing and a very clever thing to do, and definitely birds do it best. But I wasn't thinking about flying. There's something else that birds do. Every spring they take twigs and sticks and bits of moss and little bits of straw, and they weave them together to make, yes, a nest to keep their eggs warm. And I think that's really clever. You see, I've taken bits of twig and straw and moss and I've tried to weave them together, and I can't weave a nest, and I certainly can't do it with my mouth. And birds have to do it with their beaks, their mouths, and I think that's what birds do best. Well, all the birds went away and they made an extra big nest, one that they built all together. They built it big enough to put a polar bear in. They brought twigs and sticks and bits of moss and straw up into the frozen north, and there they built the nest. And then they waited, and then they waited, and then they waited, until one day up into the sky came the beautiful rainbow. And Snowy got into the nest, and the bird flew. So can you flap your wings and carry Snowy up, 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 up into the sky until he reached the rainbow? Well, I think there must have been something magic about the North Pole, because when Snowy reached the rainbow, he found that he could slide right through it. I'm going to go swimming in red, said Snowy, and off he went, right through the red. Whee! And of course, when he came out of the rainbow, he was covered in red. Well, we better see what he looks like if he's all red. So I've used this scarf to show you what he might have looked like with all the red when he came out of the rainbow. Look at me, said Snowy. I'm not a snowy bear anymore. I'm not just a white bear. I need a new name. I need a red name. Can you think of anything that would make a good red name? Something that's always red, like tomatoes or strawberries. I know, Strawberry would be a good name for him. So now he's Strawberry Bear. Look at me, said Strawberry Bear, but I haven't finished yet. And he went through the rainbow again. So this time he's going to go swooshing through the orange. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. And of course, when he came out, he had orange as well. So we better see what he looks like with orange. So now he's got red and he's got orange. There he is. I'm going to need an orange name now, said Snowy. Well, I suppose he could be Strawberry Orange. Or maybe something else that's really bright and orange, like honey. How about honey? Lovely, rich, orangey brown honey. So my name is Strawberry Honey Bear. That's a good name, but I haven't finished yet. What colour is he going to go sliding through? Yes, next. Yes, you're right, it's yellow. So come on, let's swish him through the yellow. Slide! Woo! And when he came out, he was covered in yellow. Let's see what he looks like in yellow. Oops, here he is. Look at me, said Snowy. I need a new yellow name as well. Well, what could he be for yellow? We chose orange for honey, so we need honey for orange, so we're going to need something else. He's strawberry, honey. What's the yellowest thing you can think of? Bananas. I agree. So now he's Snowy. Snowy is Strawberry, Honey, Banana Bear. But I haven't finished yet. So off he went again. Tuck that yellow in or it'll slip. This time I'm going to go whooshing through the green, he said, and off he went whooshing through the green. Whee! And of course when he came out, he was green as well. Well, what will he look like in green? I've got a lovely green scarf here, so let's see. Put that round you, that's right, hold that there and put it round your waist. Oh, we'll tuck it in there. There we are. Now he's a green bear as well. He's red and orange and yellow and green. I need a green name, said Snowy. What would be a good name? He could be Leaf, maybe. I know. How about Broccoli? That's really green. My name is, can you remember? Strawberry, Honey, Banana, Broccoli Bear. But I haven't finished yet. I'm going to try out the, which colour? The blue. Whee! Sploosh splosh. And of course, when he came out, he was blue as well. Well, let's see if I can find a really good blue. Oh, this one's nice. So let's see what he looks like when we add blue. Wind it round his waist. There he goes. And now we have red and orange and yellow and green and blue. Look at me, said Snowy. But I need a blue name. What could we have? We could have sea or sky or, I know, shark. Let's have shark blue. Why not? My name is Strawberry, Honey, Banana, Broccoli, Shark Bear. That's a good name. But I'm not going to stop yet. There's 2 more colours to go. There's 2 purple colours. The first of the purples is a kind of dark blue and it's called indigo. So let's send him through the indigo. Ooh, whoosh, whoosh. And of course, when he came out, he was covered with a purpley indigo colour. Well, I've got this one. It's not quite indigo, but it's not bad. And it shows you what he might look all purple. But of course, he's going to need a purple name. Can you think of anything that's purple? Who likes grapes? He could be a purple grape. So my name, said Snowy, is Strawberry, Honey, Banana, Broccoli, Shark, Grape Bear. And I haven't quite finished yet because there's one more colour of the rainbow and it's called violet. And it's a sort of reddy purple, much softer, lighter colour. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Whee! And of course, when he came out, he had the lilac colour on him as well, the violet colour. So here he is. So let's wrap him up in this violet colour. Well, I was trying to think of a good name for violet. And of course, violet is a beautiful flower. And what other flowers? Oh, there's lilac, which is the name of a colour. But I think I'm going to give him the name Pansy because often those are purple as well. It's a good name. So now his name is Strawberry, Honey, Banana, Broccoli, Shark, Grape, Pansy Bear. And I'm the Rainbow Bear. And as the rainbow faded away, the birds spread their wings and they brought the nest back down to the ground and they left the Rainbow Bear on the white snow, under the white sky, by the white, frozen, icy water. Snowy was very proud of himself and he went off to show off to all the other polar bears. Look at me, he said, I'm the Rainbow Bear. But all the other polar bears, all they did was to shake their big heads and go, oh dear, oh dear. You're just jealous, said Snowy, because I'm a rainbow bear and you're just plain white polar bears. And he went down to the water to fish because he was feeling hungry after his adventure. The rainbow bear sat by the water and you know what he's going to do. He took his big paw and he went crack, swish. But he didn't catch a fish. Try with your other paw, ready to crack the ice. 1, 2, 3, crack, swish. No fish. Try again. Crack, swish. No fish. Well, he fished and fished and fished all afternoon. And by the time the sun went down in the sky and it grew dark, Snowy the Rainbow Bear was a very unhappy, hungry bear with a rumbly tummy. By morning time he tried again. So we'll have one more try, shall we? Crack, swish. No fish. He was so hungry, he went off to see all the other polar bears and he said, I can't catch any fish. What's wrong with me? But the other polar bears just shook their great heads and went, oh dear, oh dear. Finally, the rainbow bear had an idea and he went off to see the old polar bear, the very wise old polar bear. And he said to the polar bear, can you help me? I'm so hungry, my tummy is rumbling, and I can't catch any fish, and I used to be the best bear at fishing. The wise old polar bear looked down at him and he shook his head. Oh dear, said the wise old polar bear. You see, when you were Snowy the white polar bear, you sat under a white sky on white snow and frost by white frozen ice, and you put your white paw into the white water, and the fish couldn't see you coming, and that's why you caught them. You were camouflaged. It's a big word, but it means you're the same colour as the things around you. Now you're a rainbow bear. All the fish can see you coming, and they go swish, swish, and swim away. You'll never catch any fish while you're a rainbow bear. You're not camouflaged. I never thought of that, said the rainbow bear. What can I do? Well, said the wise old polar bear quite kindly, go and find a big pile of white snow and roll and roll and roll in it, and you will see what you will see. So off went Snowy, and he found a big pile of snow, and he dived into it and began to roll. Can you roll your hands like this? Help Snowy keep rolling. He rolled and rolled and rolled, and away went all the lilac. Keep rolling. He rolled and rolled and rolled and rolled, and away went all the indigo. Keep rolling. He rolled and rolled and rolled. Come on, roll some more quickly. He rolled and rolled and rolled, and away went all the blue. Keep rolling. He rolled and rolled and rolled, and away went all the green. Keep rolling. He rolled and he rolled and he rolled some more, till he'd rolled away the yellow and the orange and the red, and there was Snowy, the white polar bear. I am Snowy the white polar bear, he said, and I live where it's cold. And I think the rainbow is very beautiful. But I don't want to be a rainbow bear. I want to be me. And he went down to the river to fish. Are we ready? Crack! Swish! A fish. Yum, yum. And that's the story of Snowy the polar bear. Now, I've left some worksheets for you. I've left some Mr. Bear worksheets. You can draw Mr. Bear's, all his favourite things. You can draw the bees and all his friends. And I've even left you some story making, so you can make new stories, story making worksheets, so you can make new stories with your mum or dad or older brothers and sisters or aunts and uncles or whoever's with you, and make new stories together. But I've also left you some special worksheets so that you can make your own rainbow out of half a paper plate and turn it into a rainbow and cut out Mr. Bear and have him climbing over the rainbow. Do you know, if he's going to be a rainbow bear, he's going to need a new name. I wonder what names you'll give your own special rainbow bear. Well, until next time, where there'll be more stories and more of my story friends to meet, it's goodbye from Snowy and Mr. Bear. Come on, wake up. Mr. Bear, wake up. Stop. Mr. Bear, calm down, calm down, calm down. Just sit on my hands and sit quietly. Can you say goodbye? That's it. You say goodbye. Yep, we won't bounce. No, don't lick my nose, Mr. Bear. I'll hold his paws and maybe he'll sit still. Bye-bye, everybody, till I see you again.